Didn't see you there. You just caught me in the middle of tasting sweet, sweet victory out of my 2013-2014 Geo Knows Award for Most Entertaining Prognosticator on YouTube. Now, as you may well know, the 2014-2015 Geo Knows Awards are just around the corner. As a matter of fact, voting ends this Sunday. And the only thing that tastes better than victory is more victory. Now, you can make that happen. You can go to geoknows.com/awards.php and vote for me, Bridgewater's Finest, in the Most Entertaining Prognosticator on YouTube category once again, as well as Prognosticator of the Year. I can't tell you what it would mean to me to either bring this award back home for a second consecutive year or to bring home the big prize as Prognosticator of the Year. One more time, geoknows.com/awards.php. You sign in with your YouTube account, your Google Plus account, whatever it is that you have, and vote for Bridgewater's Finest. What's happening, everybody? Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter, and welcome to the AFC and NFC Championship Games edition of my weekly NFL Pick Show for the 2014-2015 NFL season. We're going to have an uncharacteristically short video here for you this week. There's only really two games to look at, and if you've been following along with me all season, you know that I've been inundating you guys with 15 to 20 minute videos all season, especially if you've been following along with the 2014 Bridgewater's Finest Movie Awards. So I figured this week be a little bit of a treat for you. It's going to be a relatively short video. So far in these playoffs, I've found a lot of success on the AFC side of things. I'm 3-1 straight up, a perfect 4-0 against the spread, as well as being 3-1 on the over-under. The NFC's been a bit more of a struggle. I am a perfect 4-0 picking the games. I picked all 4 games correctly. However, I am 0-4 against the spread in the NFC. I'm also 0-4 over-under. So overall on the playoffs, 7-1 straight up, but I'm only 4-4 against the spread and only 3-5 over-under. Still plenty of time to turn things around, but it's got to start this week. So in the spirit of trying to turn things around here, we're going to start in the AFC this time, where we see the number 4 ranked Indianapolis Colts, now 13-5 on the season, a very good 6-3 on the road, going into Foxborough to play the number 1 ranked New England Patriots, now 13-4 on the year, and a very impressive 8-1 at home. Patriots are favored by 6.5 points here at home, with the total being 53.5. New England beat Indianapolis earlier this season in Week 11, 42-20 in Indianapolis. The last 10 head-to-head matchups have a slight edge for the Patriots at 6-4. However, the Patriots have won 5 in a row. Biggest X factor I see here for the Patriots is what degree of humility they're going to come into this game with. Like it or not, the Ravens were 6 minutes away from knocking the Patriots out of the playoffs last week. So that is either going to teach this team humility, teach them that they are not invincible even at home, or they're going to come into this week's game the same way they came into last week's game, arguably underestimating their opponent a little bit. And if that happens, the Colts are going to be right there to pick up the pieces and upset the Patriots. Biggest X factor I see here for the Colts is going to be that road defense. In the playoffs, they've played very well. Played 2 games, they've only given up 23 total points while scoring 50. However, on the season, the Colts have averaged giving up more points per game than they score at 28-29. So that road defense and how that road defense plays in a very good building against a very good team that plays very well in their own building, that's really going to dictate how this game goes. Let's start by taking a look at that number, 53.5. Relatively big number, except for the fact that these are 2 very good offenses, but I'm still going to tell you to take the under on this one, under 53.5. Reason being, playoff scoring seems to be a little bit down versus what it has been in the regular season. The Colts are getting a ton of yards in these playoffs. I think they lead the playoffs actually in total yardage on offense, but they're doing less with it. There are teams that are outscoring the Colts point-wise, including the Patriots, while getting fewer yards per game and obviously fewer yards overall. So 53.5, I just got a little squeaky on that one, so I'm going to tell you to take under 53.5 points. Straight up here, I like the Patriots to win this game. Overall, the Patriots are 8-2 in their last 10 games. They've scored 30 or more points in 6 of those 10 games while allowing 30 only once. I just feel like this game is their game to lose. I think Belichick's going to come in there with the game plan to do it. I think Brady's going to pull it off. Hopefully they get that run game going a little bit more than they did against Baltimore last week. But if they do that, I don't think the Patriots should lose this game. I'm going to take New England. However, on the line, those pesky Colts, man, I'm going to have to take Indianapolis plus 6.5 here on the line. It's hedging my bets a little bit. It's me acknowledging that this is going to be an extremely close game. I expect this to be very competitive. The Colts defense has played very well in these playoffs. They're not a great defense, but they're performing, and that matters just as much, if not even more so, than what's on paper. So on the line, I'm going to take Indianapolis plus 6.5, but I like New England to win the game outright. Boy, taking the underdog in the under is such a risk there. These championship games have a tendency to be a bit of blowouts sometimes, but I don't know, man. I like those Colts, at the very least, to keep the game competitive, if not to win it outright. Now let's take a look at the NFC Championship game, and for the second year in a row, the Seattle Seahawks enter the NFC Championship game. Now, they're going to be taking on the number 2 ranked Green Bay Packers, 13-4 this year, but only 4-4 on the road. Meanwhile, the Seahawks now sit at 13-4 as well. However, they are 8-1 at home. Seahawks are favored here by 7.5 points at home, with the total being 46.5. This is a rematch of a Week 1 matchup that also took place in Seattle. In that game in Week 1, Seattle put up a great performance, beating Green Bay 36-16. Last 10 head-to-head matchups sees a slight edge for the Packers at 6-4. However, Seattle has won the last 2 head-to-head and 3 of the last 4 in Seattle. This is a classic matchup here, isn't it? An excellent, elite, all-world level offense versus an excellent, elite, all-world level defense. They're going to collide, and who's going to come out on top? Biggest X factor I see here for the home Seahawks is that defense, one more time, that defense, they are the ultimate closers. You know how the Yankees were so good for all those years because they had Mariano Rivera? The Seahawks have been good the last few years and are going to continue to be good as long as they can keep together that all-world defense. They are the closers for this team. Let me hit you with some numbers. Over the Seahawks' last 4 playoff games, they've given up 57 points. That's insane. They gave up 17 points to Carolina last week, only gave up 40 points in 3 playoff games last year. That is an unbelievable total, and that is why they are the ultimate closers, because they can go out there and close out games, close out offenses, force offenses to make mistakes, and that is the single biggest weapon that the Seahawks can employ. Biggest X factor I see here for the Packers, it's going to be a fairly obvious one. It's going to be A-Rod's leg. Can a beat-up Aaron Rodgers go into Seattle, where his team has already lost once this year, and put up with that all-world, probably most feared defense in the NFL? A Rodgers at 100% is going to struggle in this game. A Rodgers with an injured leg is going to be even worse. Rodgers is so good at picking up a couple of first downs a game with his legs, especially later on in the game, keeping drives alive. If he doesn't have the ability to do that, what is that going to do to his ability to make plays against this defense? So the way Aaron Rodgers can perform on that busted up leg, probably the single biggest determining factor in this game. Let's take a look at that number, 46.5. I'm actually going to tell you to take the under here as well. I missed both of my under plays in the NFC so far this playoff, both of them including either Carolina or Seattle or both. But a limited Aaron Rodgers does play a role here, and even though Seattle's offense is really rolling, especially at home, I think Green Bay's defense is actually going to step up in this game. I think they're going to play a very good game. Is it going to be enough to beat Seattle? Not sure about that, but on the 46.5, I don't think it goes over that. I'm going to tell you, despite these good offenses, to take the under. Straight up here, I'm going to take the favorite Seahawks. I think the combination of a limited Aaron Rodgers, plus being in Seattle, plus the Seahawks being on this hot streak that they're on, playing as well as they have. Russell Wilson is playing better football right now than I think he has at any point in his career. So I think that combination is probably too much for anyone in the NFL. So don't be surprised if Seattle wins the Super Bowl again this year. I'm not saying they're going to. How close do I think it's going to be? Not close enough to not take Seattle on the line as well. I'm also going to tell you to take Seattle minus 7.5. Again, I like Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers may be my favorite football player right now. I just think, like, Seattle, again, Seattle at home. How many times have I said it this year? I've said it at least a dozen times this year. But Seattle at home are just insane. They play so well. You know what? Green Bay, at the end of the day, is an average road team. They're 4-4. They give up more points than they score on the road. They're an average road team. And going into the toughest building in the league to play in doesn't bode well for them. So I'm going to tell you to take Seattle to win this game straight up, to win the NFC, and take Seattle minus 7.5 on the line. All right, so those are the picks for the AFC and NFC championship games. So let me go over them with you here one more time. In the AFC, straight up, I like New England to beat Indianapolis, but I like Indianapolis plus 6.5 on the line. On that total, 53.5, going to tell you to take the under. Moving back to the NFC, I like Seattle to beat Green Bay straight up. I also like Seattle on the line, minus 7.5. And the over-under, I'm also going to tell you to take under the 46.5. That's it for me, Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter. You're welcome for the shorter video. Remember, one more time, vote for Bridgewater's Finest in the 2014 Geo Knows Awards. Voting ends this Sunday, so vote for me for Most Entertaining Prognosticator on YouTube, as well as Prognosticator of the Year. All of my numbers and my credentials are in the description below, so take a look at those and make the right choice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and we will see you again in 2 weeks' time for the Super Bowl.